Hello and good morning. Seems like we are back Monday, almost morning. Not so much morning anymore. 10:37. I think we were doing this live Friday, or maybe it was Thursday. But I've been thinking, and there's a bunch of cool things that we might actually want to try out. So let me bring up a browser here and we can talk about it. Because as any sane individual would, I've been trying out some of the competition, and to be frank, it looks good, but it's not as useful as I hoped for. And the good and bad news is they basically copied my initial idea, or we came up with the same idea, and they implemented it before me. So one could say that sucks, but also their product sucks. And it doesn't suck that they built it and we didn't, because we would, if they didn't, we would have a product that sucked. So we can do something about it, which is cool. And what I realized was, let's bring up some drawing tools here. So the app that we were building, this beautiful thing here, our primary capabilities was post-processing, voice, provide feedback on verbal English, which in itself is super valuable. But I think there is other use cases that we could tap into that's far more exciting and valuable, because it's like, okay, imagine this. If you're into exercising, imagine chances are you have a Garmin watch or you have an Apple Watch. If you do that and you use it for running or for biking or for hiking, but let's say for running, imagine you had a watch and you would go for a run and say, hey, now I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to tap my watch. And the watch would not give you feedback until you got home. So let's say you're running a long run. You're running for 2 hours. You have no idea how you're doing. You can feel like your heart, you can feel your lungs, and maybe you're like exhausting yourself. Maybe you can find the right balance, but you have no telemetry on your actual performance. Now you get home, you say, oh, I'm done. Like, oh, the watch is crunching all your data. It's like, it comes back. Well, you did fine, but here's the things you can do differently next time. That that is useful, but what's really useful about using a Apple Watch or a Garmin watch or any other watch for tracking fitness is the real-time feedback you get while running. So this is nice and moderately valuable. Moderate moderate value. How about that? But what really makes, if you're gonna go with the Garmin or Apple Watch analogy, where the real value close to real-time feedback. And I've been thinking about this, and after trying out some competitive software or some competitions, like they give me feedback afterwards. It's like, oh, your pronunciation is this good, your vocabulary is this good. Here are some exercises that you can run or do to improve, which is nice. Have I done it? No. But what would it take for me to improve then? And that's the question I've been trying to answer for myself. What would it actually take for this to work? And the answer I kept coming back to is the real-time aspect of it. Like that, the post-processing is nice and might be useful in some scenarios, so we should not forget about that. But the real value, I think, is here. But this is also way more complicated to do because this is easy. We just capture the audio, process it, rate it, and give results back. So this we can do relatively easily. This is more tricky, but what I've been thinking about is and drawing some sketches for. Let's just bring up Figma so we can something like this. And this is super, super simple, but imagine you're on a call and you're using a Mac and if you're on your laptop, you have the notch, so we can utilize that. If you're not on a Mac and you're using a screen, forget about it, just move this tiny box up. But let's say I want to track my filler words and I want to watch my words per minute because I know I'm speaking fast sometimes, really fast, especially if I'm excited. Or, yeah, I think excited is probably like the most common thing. This will go from being in the green, and I think we can ask Google, um, verbal convert and presentation. What is the best range for words per minute? Actually, let's pass this to ChatGPT. The probability they can give us a good result is pretty high. Okay, so somewhere between, let's say, 120 to 150, maybe 160. That's the sweet spot. I've tracked this with other software. I know I can go up into the 180s real fast, real easy. But that's not going to help me or whoever I'm talking to. But that's simply just a like, product of my brain going super fast, I suppose, or my mouth. But similar to how you drive the car, it's like, oh, you're speeding. That would be the useful feedback. Similarly, if I have filler words such as like or or pick your poison, notifying me almost in real time and say, hey, you had a filler word. That would be quite valuable because the closer to my thesis is, the closer you can bring the feedback to when it actually happened, the better it is. It's like if you've been managing people or you've been giving feedback to your peers as an IC or something like that, or maybe your partner, maybe your parents, or a good friend, whatever. If you observe something, it's like, that's not cool, that's not okay, and you want to get feedback on that. If you wait 24 hours, it's gonna feel way, way more awkward on you going up to somebody and saying, hey, the thing you did yesterday, it's actually bugging me. You should probably still do it if you haven't done it, but it's much easier the closer you get to the actual event. And if you're a manager, the rule of thumb is always give feedback in the moment or as close to as possible, but in private if it's something where one needs to improve. You don't want to sit in front of a bunch of people and say, "Hey, James, right now you're fucking up. Don't do that." Um, and talk through it. Do it afterwards and do it in private. Save the face always of whoever you're giving feedback to. But the closer you get to the event, the better it is. And so I've been thinking there's probably a bunch of heuristics we can look into. Maybe we should just ask ChatGPT for this. Um, and say, so if we do this, Monitor real time. So we know at least one, which is words per minute. There's filler words. That's two. Um, See, now I'm saying Be nice if my screen would just light up and said, "Hey, you said don't do that." What else? Profanity detection. Oh, a good friend of mine, because our core audience is professional. I do realize it might be wider than that, but my lens is very much professional and not someone sitting in, I don't know, high school. One thing that could be interesting is acronym. A common thing throughout all the workplaces I've been at is there's always complaints about people using too many acronyms. Oh, MMR, um, or ARR, and BAU, DAU, MAU. All these things that you have to be in the space and sometimes within a department to really understand what's going on rather than just saying DAU, oh, daily active users, ARR, oh, annual reoccurring revenue. Just call it what it is and help yourself and everyone else out in terms of clarity. So, acronym detection, we could probably also go. I suffer from this sometimes. How do you spell this? Brevity? I don't know. Spell this. Brevity. Maybe we can do that. If you're talking at great lengths about the same thing, can we do like topic categorizations? Like, hey, you've been talking about this thing for 5 minutes, move on. That would be cool. What else? There's things that's much harder to do unless we go train a custom model, but we don't want to do. But something like inflection and tone, we could maybe unnecessary pausing is a thing that some people struggle with, but it can so easily be misinterpreted. So that's something we really want to be thoughtful about going into. The brevity is also kind of tricky, actually. I think, let's put it in the orange here, because you need to categorize everything and figure out whether it's meaningful that you go on or not. And that might be hard to just figure out. Not that it's impossible, but it's the value I would suspect is moderate. And while it would be cool, I think the other things offer way higher value for a broader audience. But even if I had this here, That would be super cool because this allows me to answer, am I speaking too fast, slow, or just right? Mm, could I be clearer? Do I swear a lot? Or do I come across as professional and mature? Some people might swear. I do that sometimes, especially for inflection. So it might be a thing like I can just turn it off. Some cases, it's just a part of my style. I also know when not to do it. But especially when being personal with my team or want to really make a point about something, I can do it, and I do it. I also do it online, do it on stream. But I could very much see cases where someone would want to do it. Here, um, custom word list. This is easy, but there might be a set of words that I try real hard not to use. One of my first, how should I put this? One of the first things I was told when I was swearing when I first moved to Canada was, I think I said retarded. And someone politely corrected me, like, that's not a word that you're using because that actually means something really serious. So please don't say retarded about people, about situations or things, or just don't use the word. I'm like, huh. Because coming from Denver, like, that's retarded. Like I used to game a lot, use that word all the time. Never really thought about the deeper meaning. I was like, oh, I can actually see that. So I stopped saying retarded. Let's say I had an issue where I kept saying it. I wanted to get rid of that habit. Adding a custom word list. Like, here's the things you want to flag for me. Not just filler words. Could be different classes of words. Could also be. We could do a custom. We could do a lot of interesting things with custom words. Actually, if we have your primary language, in my case, it's Danish. We could look at Danish sayings and do a approximate or direct translation to English to detect whether you're speaking what I would call Danglish, which is Danish and English merged together, and but you're actually not making sense. So in Danish, like in English, you can say, "Oh, I'm losing my marbles." If you would say that in Danish, nobody would be able to understand what you're trying to say if they only speak Danish. Um, and vice versa. If you're like directly translating English or Danish sayings to English, might be the same. So we could do that super easy. Low hanging fruit. Let's just jot that down real quick. Um, maybe it'll work, maybe not. Mm, primary language to English things detection. I would assume this is a common thing that happens. If someone is fairly well articulate in their primary language or their first language, this just happens naturally as you speak because you're trying to express yourself. I've seen this happen. Like I've done it multiple times. I've seen my friends do it as well. So it kind of makes sense. Let's just wrap this up. Am I clear and understandable? Understandable for as many as possible, and fix my personal and custom habits. And doing that in real time would be pretty awesome because it's like going for a run and like getting all the heuristics out 2 hours after 2 hour long run versus, hey, here's your pace, here's your heartbeat, slow down, speed up. I could see that working would be far more valuable. And it's like, oh, here is your performance graded. And this could like open up for so many use cases as well. I can imagine scenarios where you had sales teams talking about special things. So we can, like, let's say you have to go through a sales script. To what degree are you sticking to the sales script versus going off on your own? Um, it could be interviewing. How well are you using the scripted questions that you might have to go through a structured interview? Or are you going off on a tangent? Because if you're going off on a tangent, not sticking to the script, you have inconsistent interviews and evaluations compared to like whoever's in the pipeline or being evaluated. That's not good. So at least at larger companies, that's something that they really try to double down is to just have structured interviews as well. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of like long-term use cases here we could go for. Hmm. One thing I'm not sure about, but this is like very much tangential, but that would be accent detection. Let's say you have someone with a thick Portuguese or Chinese or French accent. How well would we be able to do all these things? TBD. But this is cool. I like this. So, good news. I did a demo over the weekend because I saw something online that was pretty cool. So this is our sample Electron app, just JavaScript, React, and Electron Byte. We can load a model, and now we can do real-time transcription and detection of words. And this theoretically should be able to give us words per minute, profanity checking. So if I say fuck retarded, excuse my language, we would detect that. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And we can definitely use it for heuristics. Whether it will would make a old 5 year old, I don't know, M1 MacBook melt down, maybe. But the cool thing about this model is it's running completely locally. So there's no network traffic. It's utilizing web GPU. So it's blazing fast compared to something that just rely on this like CPU. Web GPU, if you don't know it, is a newer standard for doing web graphics. That's much closer to the hardware, and it's so many times faster compared to how you would do um, 3D graphics in the browser years ago. So If you do 3D, Web GPU is the way. So all libraries like 3JS, etc., they are either have been rewritten or is in the process of being rewritten to use Web GPU. The good thing about this is our sample app here, we have a worker that's doing a lot of the processing, and otherwise we're just relying on Media Recorder, just like we are in our own app. So we can just capture, give real-time data, stop capturing at the end of the session, and save it. Now this use WebM as a format instead of WAV files like our app, because our backend currently only supports WAV media files, for better or for worse. But we could probably fix that and just make a web service that can convert it for us, and we would save some disk space on the user's device anyway. But again, the feedback later is less valuable than the real-time stuff. And as far as I can tell, it's actually pretty good. I'm sure we can do some optimization for it to get even better. But I can easily see this calculating words per minute, and we can just like pull the output every 5 seconds, calculate the words per minute, or something like that, or every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, and with a bit of savvy math, we can probably make a smooth here's two word per minutes when you're speaking. Now my laptop is making noises, but we're also streaming and doing a lot of things at the same time. What's going on? Streaming Studio is dying or killing my laptop. Rewind is running and capturing things. Let's just kill Rewind. Um, we don't need that. And our Electron app is using approximately the same as Rewind. So could be worse, probably be better. I'm sure we can do some perf optimization in the long run. But all in all, I will say this could pass. I have an old laptop around here somewhere that we would have to like try this on and see what happens. But assuming we can run this without melting down the user's device, I think it would be pretty valuable. So that's quite interesting. So that's the wicked feature idea that I've been noodling on. And I think we can do some cool stuff. And looking at the transcript here, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. And it makes me think maybe we can just start with this, do it all client side, and we can sort of pluck pieces of the audio here and there for pronunciation and deeper analysis and bring down our cost. Because one of the things we talked about in earlier episodes was also our cost of analyzing an hour of audio and giving complete feedback on all the phonemes and everything was pretty high. It's like $6, which we don't want to pay, which is an hour. And assuming users have like 5 hours of meetings, we're in the red in terms of like what they would be paying us. But if we could just like pluck here and there, here's a complex sentence or something like that. We can sort of like it's like sampling the audio. It's like you have an hour, we will like analyze a minute of it or maybe 2 minutes and just utilize sampling for figuring out approximately how good is your pronunciation. That is at least way more viable from a business perspective. And then if you want to analyze a big thing, let's make it an add-on. You can pay for compute, something like that. Seems like there's like a latency here, approximately 5 seconds or so. But again, if you're wearing an Apple Watch or Garmin watch, it's not real time. It's like it's sampling as well, or there's a slight delay. So I think that's fine. We'll know when we try it. How about that? So output right now is like one big string. So we need to figure out how we'll handle this. But you can see if I shut up for a second, you can see how like it keeps resampling the same audio. So when it's processed, we need to clear it. I was like, okay, you're done. It's fine. That might bring down the processing as well because let's if I just be quiet in just a second, we can see it'll keep changing the text and it'll keep changing the output. I'll be quiet now. Okay. The CPU is still high and it seems like it has a array of data that it's still considering. But yeah, I'm sure we can do some optimization. I literally found this code, saw someone else do it who's doing something wicked cool with I think it's called Transformers.js, running this in the browser. It seems like he's working on the next version, and in the next version he has this like sample for this. And that's literally what we just copied and pasted into an Electron app. So I can't claim any credit for this. As cool as it is, I wish I could, but I'm not that smart. But if I see something that can do valuable things, I will gladly adopt it and use it. And we need to look into the capabilities of this and figure out how can we improve it. But I think this works for starters. The question is, I see our render CPU keeps getting slightly higher and higher and higher. There's a risk that it's leaking, or we don't clean up as well as we should. The array also seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it might be that the data that we're processing is also just like increasing over time, and that might cause performance issues. But I mean, that's just minor things, things that we have to clean up. Not too worried about that. But I think this is cool. I think we can work with it. Maybe we should just try and see if we can calculate our words per minute and profanity detection. Let's hammer out a really crude POC of what we actually want, just for the fun of it. And we can go back and we can backport this into our app, and then we'll be happy. The beauty of this is all JavaScript, not TypeScript. I tried to implement this in TypeScript, and I gave up after 2 hours just because all sort of wild things happening that I have no idea about how to resolve. But we'll get through that later if this proves viable. Early indicators say yes, but let's actually get to work. Let's bring up the browser. There's other things that we need to talk about as well. Met up with some friends last week, and they gave me some interesting ideas. I'm just gonna jot them down over here so we can get back to it and say talk about what does great look like. This is a marketing opportunity. All right, we'll park that and get back into this. Hmm. So words per minute. Hold on. I can hear my dog. I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. Let's see if the app that we're running actually resolved something that I had as a bug before. No, they haven't. So I took out my AirPods while checking out what the dog was doing. And when the device switches system output or it falls back to a different microphone. So I'm using my AirPods and I take them out. It'll go use my laptop or my webcam. But when that happens, media recorder stops recording. Media recorder uh, handles where's microphone. All right, we'll look into that later. Let's take a look at this. Stop this running. Mm, so we have our worker. We need to figure out how it's doing. This is just load. Don't need to look at that. That works fine. Have generate. That might be what we want. And we have get instance. We definitely don't want to look at that. So generate is probably where the magic happens. So it says we're starting. It has the automatic speech recognition pipeline. And this is just a black box. We have no control over this. Text streamer. Give prompt phone. Okay. We can go look at what that does. Audio. That's the input. So we call generate somewhere over here. Maybe. Okay, here. So let's see what happens. We have our blob of data. A file reader, have our array buffer, decode this. What does it turn into? Nobody knows. We'll figure that out. Channel data, audio. If links, max samples. What's max samples? Oh, I see. Max audio length. 30 seconds. So we can maybe just count our words, multiply it by 30, and we have the words per minute. So it saves the last 30 seconds. So it's like a rolling buffer. Just like if we had to visualize it, sorry, my brain is pretty visual. So it's like if we do this, this is 15 sec. I think this is what it means. This is 45 sec. 60 sec. 75 sec, etc. You get the point. So it's like a rolling window, I assume, where for starters, they'll capture this box here. And then as time progresses, this is like an output. And as time progresses, the speech will change. Over here. That's the pattern. That actually, does that mean we can just take the diff between, like, make an interval and just make a diff? It's like we'll make rolling windows of, like, I don't know, say 10 seconds, and just say, hold on, this is the output from 1 to 10 sec. And this is the output 10 to 20 sec, etc. Just by looking at the delta. And if we have that, we have a long list. Basically, have a transcript in intervals, and we can look at the intervals and see if we can find something interesting that we want to go back and say, hey, we should analyze from, I don't know, 20 to like 40 seconds in the third minute and send that off for a deeper analysis around pronunciation or something like that. Hmm, maybe. Oh, Sebastian, hi. Sorry, I didn't have the chat on my second screen. And yes, you are right. The American political correctness is extreme, though, and they take everything too literal. And I think that's almost like it's almost like a religion, or because you can, they will, and it's a cultural thing. And we just have to deal with that. But I also think that there might be some use cases we can build around that because it is a real thing. We can like it or dislike it. Doesn't really matter. It's how it works, and we're just gonna build on top of it and roll with it. I don't think it's our job to fix, but we can definitely work with it and bake it into the product. So, not sure how we're gonna do this. Let's see what we have. We have the text. We have the set text, and this is our 30 sec rolling output. So what we probably want is a um, what's wrong. Choose a different word. Is that it? Bundles of text. Set bundles of text. Cool. So if I do this, you can start with an identifier or keyword immediately followed by an. I have no. What is this? What does this mean? I assume this is just a start with a letter, underscore, or a dollar sign. They kind of start with a digit. Okay. Why? Today I learned. Okay. Okay. Doesn't matter. One of the rules of the universe. Hmm. How often is set text called? Um, Output captured. Data now. Let's just see what we get. Oh, wait. Do we want to do something like, is it like this or this? We'll try this. Um, no. Is this better? Oh, geez. All right, we need to look up how to do this. JavaScript date now. Yes. New date. That'll do. Thank you. Do we need to rebuild? Is that a thing? Let's see. What happens? I'm gonna bring this over, load the model, and every every second or so, but hmm. What does this actually mean for us? I mean, we can just capture the timestamps, and if this was RxJS, like this is just a long stream of events, right? So if we just turn this into an observable and we just say, hey, let's take every 10 seconds, since it's a rolling buffer of 30 seconds, we can take the last item in the array and remove that, and we have the delta. Is that what we want to do? Hmm. This is one of the moments, as usual, where I have no idea what I'm doing, but we will figure it out. Okay. I haven't used RxJS in a long time, so we might want to bring this one up. Get started. Observables. Let's just try and do stuff and see what happens. npm RxJS. So if we say and down here we say sure, we can do that. Let's just try this. Um, so when we say it's ready, it's processing here. And here we would like to grab latest TS plus whatever text we have captured, add this to an array. Hold on. We want to say if previous item exists, app delta, update words per minute. Probably a subject that we want because we can both trigger new things in a subject and we can observe it, right? And subscribe to it, and we can say next as well, I think. Subject. Oh God, it's been so long since I've done this. I'm sure my past colleagues are behavior subject stores the notion of current value. It stores the latest value emitted to its consumers. That might actually be what we want. We can store one. Store the latest. Whenever a new observer subscribes. Oh, I see. Well, that doesn't really matter. So we have the same thing as we have down here. Hold on. So it says complete, and that's where we capture things. Um, does this mean it keeps hitting start as well? Let's not do this yet and just figure out what's going on. Let's just make sure we know exactly what's going on. We'll listen to all the events because we'd like to understand the state machinery or whatever we want to call it that's going on here before we do something wicked. Okay, this will be messy, but let's run it. Oops, see what happens. bring over the app, we'll load our model. It's done. And we can start speaking and we can see what's happening. Maybe. Or maybe we just broke it. Oh, did we not comment the thing out? Oh, yes, we did. But still not working. Interesting. So we broke some things somewhere. We don't have Git, so we have no idea what's going on. Let's just try and redo this one more time. Is it working now, or did we just mess everything up? We are definitely screwing it up somewhere. Okay, so let's go back and just remove stuff. Try one more time. And we go. Maybe this is better. Maybe, yes, it is. Hooray! We like this. Much better. Great. Let's add some locking and see what happens. Um, Age of the case statements. Thank you. Try one more time. And let's see what happens here. So it keeps hitting start, update, 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 complete update, and it seems like, let's see. Oh, so do we really get for the update, does that output capture one word at a time? That would be so cool to do, profanity detection. But it also seems like if we're speaking really fast that it captures only partial of the sounds, or does it actually capture every single word that I say? How does this actually work? Now the throttle here is actually doing all the console log output. It can't do it fast enough, so that's what we're seeing right now, I think. That's okay. We can see that each update has a single word in the output, so we can use that to do a lot of cool stuff. And maybe in the update, we just. So, no, the thing is, every update, it's the same list of words within that 30-second window, but it keeps reprocessing it rather than just like throw it out with bathwater. Like, we're done here. Move on. Wait for new stuff. So we keep iterating over the same output again and again and again. But the update is as fast as we can get it. So there we can do profanity detection. Does this work? Oh, we need the console. Oh, here we go. Where did my app go? The app is... No, 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 no. Hold on. Things are getting messy. Here we go. So, yes, single word. We can use that. Nice. This will be fun. Hmm. Fine. Let's stop this for a second. And can we just say, does this work? I haven't tried this yet. I'm building a JavaScript profanity filter, and I would like your help to create an array with the 500 most common profanity words in a code block for JavaScript as an array that I can just copy and paste into my app. Messy, but if it works, it works. Fire and forget. Hold on. You're doing what I ask you to, but we would like the verbal version only. I'm building a JavaScript profanity filter for verbal profanity words. So I would like your help by creating a JavaScript array with the 500 most common profanity words that can be uttered verbally as a code block for JavaScript, and I'll copy paste it into my app. Nice. Holy moly. In the history of streaming and Twitch, there has never been so many bad words on the screen at the same time. But it keeps repeating itself, doesn't it? Let's wait until it's done. Fair. Okay. So here, nope. Word. This is a simple test. Okay. So, what happens if I say fuck? Nothing? Shit? Is it like I have to say alert that show or something? Is that it? Fuck? This is the beauty. Oh, it should just work, right? Okay, hold on. This is stupid. But we're just gonna do this and say, here we go. Mm, yep, we can do that. Okay, so we're gonna say console log checking word. Yep, bad word. Hmm. Oh, this is incomplete? Hold on, hold your horses. That's why things are not working. We don't want to do this on complete. We want to do this on, which was it? The one with TPS. Here, single word, update. Bring this one up and say, so things are now live, and if I swear, we should see a dialog. So if I say fuck, mhm, okay, aha, thank you. And now it will go over and over and over again. Fine, fine, fine. Mm, and we place, try this one more time. So if I say something bad like fuck, we'll see a dialog. That's actually pretty fast. Like within now, it'll keep going over the same words again and again and again. So we were probably fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. We're throttling everything because of the console lock. But if I then say, I hate swearing, but if I say, "Can we just get rid of this, please? Thank you." It should not happen again. Should not see a dialogue. But if I then say fuck, it'll take a while because we're printing so much to console log. Yeah, let's clean this up. This clearly works. One step at a time. Good. So this works. And we'll just go like this. Console error, no swearing. We still have to figure out how do we solve the whole, it's like streaming the same word set of words over and over and over again. Mm, okay, let's run it one more time. I wish my brain was more structured and disciplined. It was like one step at a time, we'll chip away and build something. But this is us chipping away. And can we stop capturing for a second? Just pause. And start. We have console lock at each step, right? Yep. Where's the app? Progress object. What does the object look like? Okay. E.data. So what progress means, I'm not sure. Let's go check out the worker. Um, okay. Guess we don't have to worry about that. Nope. Okay. That's fine. We'll say that one progress item. What is the item now? That is, we're doing both. Hold on. What's happening? Mm, can we do this without refreshing? Reset. Then what happens? Maybe. Nope. This ain't working. So start is just every new cycle, I assume. Or start is pressing E. Let's see what we have here. Can we get more data? There we go. Fine, thank you. Mm, timestamp? There's nothing in start for us, so we'll get rid of this. Say, don't worry about this. Stop worrying about these two. That's all internals. We'll try one more time, see what happens. So we might want to just expand on these and see what else do we get. Similar to what we did before. So the frequent callback here is the data available and the output captured. Output captured was right here. And if we let's just console log everything and see what happens. What do we get? We have a timestamp, which is nice. Is it just the time since we began? Nobody knows. It seems like it broke everything to do this, but I have the data. Hmm. Let's just go back to doing the whole words per minute thing for a sec. So let's stop debugging. And here, revert whatever we did. And here, um, mm-hmm. And we say, uh, word count and const words per minute is word count times 2 divided by 60. because this is the words for a 30-second interval. And then we can go up here and say, I mean, this is as simple as it gets, but where did it go? Sometimes simple is good. And down here, we'll just say, where do we want to put it? Probably here. So if we put that over here, and I bring up the browser, and we can just talk about Excalibur and forget about it for a second. If we look at what we have here, we're pretty close to implementing maybe a prototype of words per minute. That said, something is not working. Whatever it is, I don't know. Split is not a function. How on earth? Oh, wait a minute. Fair. Mm, so we're making a mistake again. Maybe we're not making a mistake. Output to string. To see what happens. Save this, run it. So, does this work now? I think so. Output captured. Data output. Okay, I think it works. Oh, we do have words per minute over here. That's nice. So if I talk regularly, hold on, something is wrong. Oh, it's because I divided by 60. I don't have to because this like the word count is every word that comes out of my mouth within a 30-second interval. So I just have to multiply this by 2 and we are home safe. So this is much, much better. Now I broke it. Just do it one more time. Here we go. And this, and we load and we go. So it was simpler than we were hoping for, but we might actually just have implemented words per minute, which is great. Hooray! It takes 30 seconds to catch on just because the first 30 seconds is basically sampling. But when we start to ramp up, we have a pretty good idea of how many words we're speaking per minute. So with this, we have a it works, which is nice. So as long as we stay below 130 or 140, we're definitely in the good range. If we speak faster than that, we are slipping up. And I assume we could just reduce the sample rate. Like I know we have a sample something something somewhere here, 30 seconds. If we reduce this to 5 and multiply this down here by 6, hold on, we can see what happens. Mm, 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 mm. Where did you go? Boop, 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 boop. Sample rate. Multiply this by 6. Let's see what it does to our output. Because now we set this sample rate to 6 to 5 seconds. So that might mean we'll get to a more accurate number way faster, but it's also like because it's shorter in length or duration, our accuracy definitely goes down. And the spot might be like, let's say 10 seconds or 15 seconds, because I'm definitely speaking faster than 60 or 70 words per second here. Oh, it's actually climbing. But oh, wait a minute. Did I multiply it by 6? It should have been 12, right? Hold on. 5 and 12. Math is hard, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll load our model, and then we should be able to relatively quickly see a words per minute that's somewhat accurate because our length is set to 5 seconds. And you can already see it's climbing into the red sometimes. I'm definitely speaking too fast here. That means, yeah, no. 5 seconds is probably too low. 10 seconds might be the sweet spot because it goes up and down so fast. We probably want it to be a bit more stable. We could also make it more balanced like by averaging it out compared to like the last 5 or 6 words per minute. But actually, it should do that if it's sampling every 5 seconds. It's just a continuous stream, right? So it's looking at whatever we have here in captured, and that's just what's evaluating the likelihood of the words being something like something that actually makes sense to use mathematically is pretty low because the moment I pause to think, it drops so fast. But if we have a duration of 10 seconds, I can pause and it'll like stick around slightly longer. So we might need to do some balancing in terms of math and just like keep an array of the last 5 or 10 words per minute and average it out and put the most emphasis on the most recent, but not exclusively. Um, let's ask ChatGPT if this is something they can do. Know anything about? Okay. Um, I'm writing some JavaScript to capture how fast I speak. I call this metric words per minute. I have a list of words spoken within a 10-second interval. I would like to make the words per minute smoother. And use that to capture, calculate my words per minute. If I pause, it drops significantly. Super fast. So I'd like to do some averaging with most emphasis on the recent words per minute. It to look better on a chat, I imagine. Putting I'm sure there's some known statistics model or math for this. Can you help me understand it like and help me implement the averaging in JavaScript? Exponential moving average. See, this is the fucking beauty of, excuse my language, I should have a small blip saying profanity detected. But this is the beauty of AI or LLMs. I could have gone out and looked all this stuff up. Exponential moving average. It sounds just about right. Do I understand it? No. Will this help me understand it? Yes. So let's take a look. This method gives more weight to the recent data points, making the average more responsive to changes while still smoothing out abrupt variations. Here's the explain it like I'm five, ELI 5 explanation for the concept. Moving average. This is a way to average numbers over time to get a smoother result. Imagine you're trying to keep track of how many candies you eat a day. Instead of focusing on just one number, one day's number, which can vary a lot, you look at the average over several days. The exponential moving average. This is a special kind of moving average that gives you important to recent days. If you ate a lot of candies yesterday, the exponential moving average will show you a higher number, but if you didn't eat many candies today, it won't drop as fast. It smooths out the number but still reflect recent changes quickly. This is exactly what I wanted. Now, implement this in JavaScript. We will use a parameter called alpha between 0 and 1 to control how much weight the recent data has. Higher alpha means more weight on recent data. Here's how you implement it. Initialize the exponential moving average. Start with the first word per minute calculation. Update the exponential average for each. See, I don't speak algorithmic math. Fine. Oh, wait, alpha times words per minute new plus 1 minus alpha exponential. Okay, fine. I do understand. It was just like the font that threw me off. Okay. And so if we do, hold on. Hmm, turn this into a function for me. Hmm. We might have to just do this ourselves. It's fine. Um, so in this case, they have Mhm. Okay. So here we have the words per minute. Um, add to our set entries array, but make sure the array only has the 5 most recent items. Okay. And if we do this, we just go down here, do something like Um, so it's only looking at the one right before it. Okay, I'm sure we can do better, but let's try it. Yeah, nope. We can just grab this, remove this, remove this, because we can do it ourselves, I think. All right, don't need to do this. So this should do the trick, and we can then get rid of this, right? Because we have our old one, and we just average that into the new one. And if we then say here, screw that, say console EMA VPN. This? No. What is up? Something blew up, I think. Let's try. Yep. What happened? Hold on, I'm gonna save this. Just go back. So we're back to having our old words per minute. Paste this in. Words. Okay. Seems reasonable. Let's try one more time. Definitely not reasonable. What's up? Oh, we still have that somewhere? Yeah, nope. No, thank you. Okay, much better. So let's try this and see what happens. So right now we are ENA even is not defined. Okay, hold on. We'll fix that. Fair. Typos is legit. Doesn't work if you can't spell. But hopefully this actually works. This would be pretty exciting. We would need to do some rounding. but it's increasing way, way slower, which is super cool. It has this seems this seems off. I need to talk about something, just have it running in the background just to see if it makes sense. Not really focus on it. Um, we still need to figure out how we save the output from down here. We have these rolling windows. We can handle the interval ourselves and figure out how long do we want it to be. But we can't really figure out how to store just yet, so we don't have an array for that. Haven't really solved it. We need to do some work there. And this definitely seems like it's not right. I'm speaking way faster than this. Um, the smoothing is way too low. Oh, is it because it's starting out low? It is, so it's not really ever increasing. Uh-huh. Screw it. That's fine. We'll do set words per minute for now and just do like, and say, consider some kind of exponential average. That was what it's called, right? Exponential moving average. Moving average. At least if you'd like to chart it. Because if we don't, like, if we don't do that, we'll, like, what the exponential moving average, in case you don't get it, what it does is if we just track our words per minute using, let's say, a 5 second interval and I pause, it will look a lot like it'll go like this and then down like this. But if we have a moving average, exponential moving average, it'll look something like this. So it's a lot less jagged, and that's probably what we want. Because there will be pauses, there will be times where I don't speak, so we don't really want to put too much emphasis onto that. There might also be a way where you just like stop capturing until you start speaking. I know, like if you post process the air or the audio, we have FFmpeg that can just do silent detection and we can like strip it out. But if we want to do it real time, we like might need some sort of like mic threshold or something. 5 seconds, by the way, feel slightly too short. We might want to do just like 10 second sampling, for better for worse. Or 6, 8. I don't know. How long time is the average individual talking? Like if you have a conversation or in a meeting, or you want to explain something, I guess the words per minute is only useful if you're explaining something and if you're explaining something, you're usually taking longer. Or if you're doing a podcast or if you're streaming, then it's definitely way more relevant. But if you're just in a one-to-one conversation, it's less relevant. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Well, put a pin in that as a mental note and move on. So we'll revert our sampling back to 10 seconds for now. And that should do the trick. Let's just run it to see it still works. Like famous famous last words, like, oh, I just changed this, we'll move on, and haven't tested it, and then you get it breaks and you don't notice until like 2 hours of later debugging. So we'll just boot everything up, and we actually accomplished some pretty cool things. I'm gonna close this again because you don't need to see that. And we did some pretty cool things. We talked about where we started and some of the ideas that I've been noodling on over the weekend, which was rather than post processing voice or verbal English and provide you feedback, which is the equivalent of you going for a run, 2 hour long run. You're in great shape. You're running for 2 hours. You're tracking on your watch, but your watch couldn't give you any data on it while running. But you get home after 2 hours, and then your watch tells you, oh, thank you, you're done running now. I can see you're running for too fast for like 2 hours. Not useful. You might be able to like course correct next time and like recalibrate your pace, but you have no visibility into whether you're doing it right or wrong. So right now I can see I'm speaking at 200 words per minute, which sounds about right compared to other software, and I know I should be sticking around in the 150, 160 range tops. So I'll slow down a bit. So this is actually useful. This is exactly what I wanted. So here we did this. Hold on, we'll do something else. We have laser pointer, burp, 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 not what we want, text to diagram. No. Okay, we'll do a small dot. Nope. So we actually did this, and we actually did profanity detection as well. We still have some work to do there, but it works. Like I swear, and it definitely flagged me. Like we need to figure out how to only make it flag once, and that's a part of making use of the actual words that we detect and transcribing that in a meaningful way. I haven't really figured out whether it can do filler words yet. So if I say what's the output? Definitely do And if I say like what's the weather like? Yeah, it definitely does that. So we can take our same approach as we did with the profanity filter and make filler words. So good old trusted ChatGPT. We'll just record this. It's probably faster to do it verbally. I'm building a JavaScript application tracking my verbal English, and I would like to have an array of common filler words in English that I can match my transcript against to detect whether I have any filler words. Can you please make such an array? Let's see. Wonderful. This is what we want for starters. We have our profanity list, and we can check against that. We have the basic recipe. It's just a bit more complicated. But I'm gonna put a yellow marker on this because we're pretty close. We might go back and just do it because if we solve that, we solve some other annoying problems that we have to figure out. Acronym detection. Let's just test the basic capabilities here. So if I say MMR or ARR or DAU, pretty good. QPR, one-on-one, okay. That's actually pretty good. I'm still curious how this works with someone that has a stronger accent. I don't know. How would you say it in French? QBR? QBR? I don't know. Isn't that Yeah, that might be harder if you have a really thick accent. And I don't have a French accent, so I'm just like butchering it right here. So this is basically going from being a you have English as a second language into a English is your like primary language, but you want to be good at using it and speaking. It's a different audience, but I like it. And if you just look at the American and British market alone, that is a huge opportunity as well. And there are so many apps out there doing transcripts, so do we really need that in the first place? Sure, we can do it. Easy value add. And but that's an interesting use case to ponder. Hmm. I actually like this a lot because the acronym detection works fairly well. And it's just a list of words, so the custom word list definitely works as well. Now, the kicker here is how do we turn this into a transcript? That's what we need to figure out. And one thing that I'm concerned about here is with timestamps. It might be someone already solved this problem for us. We are just using Whisper Base and streaming whatever our microphone is capturing. But I need a small bio break here. So I'll be back in a few minutes and I will think about how we do this in the meantime. And we might just have to go ask Google. Maybe someone has done it. If they have, we don't want to do it and spend time thinking about it. So first break, be right back, and I'll be back in, yeah, 5. So we're back. I just had the app running while going on a quick break. Things we need to solve for eventually. Um, Garbage collection because we're seeing some allocation failures and garbage collection old space requested, and the CPU was going bonkers. So that's just something we need to work around. I'm sure we can. Not the biggest deal in the world. Just there's a glitch somewhere. But the fact that this works is pretty damn cool. So today, so far, we are now able to capture words per minute. We can figure out if we're swearing. We can figure out if we're using filler words. These are if we're using acronyms, at least if you're speaking reasonably good English. And there's probably some things we can do around, like work with, um, so transcription is not 100% accurate. So for instance, if I say QBR, it might say QPR, or it might say Q like this, QPR. So it might have dashes between each of the letters. But that's just like mutations of the same word, right? So we just need to have different things that we're looking for. That's a minor. We ended up not using RxJS after all, so we will rid ourselves of that extra code and the package that we ended up installing. We definitely don't need it. Okay, so far so good. So we still have this thing with transcription where we're getting an output. We're getting output where it keeps processing the last, like the data from the last few, from the last, from the max audio length duration. So in our case, the last 10 seconds. And that's probably the right way to do it because it's using, I'm assuming it's using the neighboring words to like build the right semantic context or like to try and predict what you're saying. So it knows apples from oranges and apples from Apple computer to Apple the fruit. That would kind of make sense, right? But we need to make a transcript of this somehow. So let's take a look at what the world does. Because we're using Whisper Base. Mm, has to be used Whisper Processor. What does the Whisper Processor do? Mm. Hmm. Transcribe audio samples. This model has to be used alongside the whisper processor. The whisper processor used to pre-process the audio inputs, converting them from tokens to text. The model is informed of which task to perform, transcription or translation, by passing the appropriate context tokens. The context tokens are a sequence of tokens that are given to the decoder at the start of the decoding process. Take the following order. Transcription always start with start of transcript token. Hmm. Merge whisper base outputs. Excuse me. I mean, the cool thing is, theoretically, assuming the version of Whisper Base is good enough, rather than this being focused on English, it could theoretically work with any language if we just stick to these features. So we might be able to do it in French or Italian or Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, pick your poison, which is pretty cool. Yeah, this is what I feared. Mm. Hmm. So this might be harder to do. I mean, this we could just save audio use service. I mean, that might be one way to just solve it. I would just like, it's a different problem. So our acronym detection, our custom word list detection, and our filler words, we can all capture that real time, and it's just like fire and forget when because we do it real time, and then the output that we get from processing it afterwards might be different. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's not the end of the world. Well, what would I expect? I think 99% of the time I wouldn't even notice. Like I can't remember word for word what I said in a way, and it's the context that matters. But what matters real time is whether I'm messing up or likely messing up. But the transcript is not really of value in the first place. Sure, if I'm taking notes, but that's not our use case, right? Like the transcript is just what the transcript is. Like one of those things. Sure, you can do it, but for improving my English, does it actually really matter? No. What matters is bits and pieces of what I say, especially the areas where I can improve. So it's less about the content, but how the content is produced. The question is, would you as a user would you expect there to be a transcript in the first place? Or is that just, well, whatever, it's fine. I don't really know. I don't really know. The We can just implement a simpler version of filler word detection and acronym detection and custom word list detection by just saying, first time we detect it within that 10-second sample, we'll let it slip. If it shows up twice, we'll flag it and mute that particular word for 10 seconds. So, I mean, we can do that because mm, word warnings, set word warnings, a word warning will be a word first detected, date, and is first warning. That's it. Because timestamp detected, timestamp. Because if we do this, the flow is as follows. Black word. We can add a type to this. Black Word spotted. Check array if it exists. If it exists, check it if it's been 10 seconds since last warning. If it has, change is first warning to false. And warn the user. If it hasn't, if it has, reset the timer. Reset the timestamp to current time. Change first warning to true. If it's less than 10 seconds, change is first warning to false and warn the user. If it doesn't exist, okay. Mm. Check if word is flagged. Implement this. Let's see how good it is. Okay. Should we just try and run it? Is that it? Oh, what's the issue? What are you sad about? Mhm. Change this to also remove flagged words where detected timestamp is older than 10 seconds. Okay, just going to do this. Not sure if the other thing was right or not, so don't want to do that just yet. Okay, so we need to see if this is working. We have this as a function. Probably just do like this and say, mm, this is how you do it. I think that's the right syntax. Let's see. Set words per minute. That's not the one. Check this word. It flagged. That word. Okay. Save it. Run it. Someone is sad. Why? Is this it? JSON parse. Mm-mm-mm. Not even sure what the issue is. We go backward again. It's JSON. Oh, no, it's because we removed the RxJS. Okay, there's hope. So, profanity, profanity, profanity. Where did you go? Here. Check if word is flagged. And we want to send off our word. Cool. Sorry. And if I say like, that didn't flag. Why did it not? Oh, I see. Hmm. Nope, nope, nope. This is not what we want. Check if word exists in what's our array one more time. It's called profanity list and filler word list. Profanity list. Includes word. Filler words includes word. Let's just lock this. Flag word detected. Flag type. So we'll check if this exists. Mhm. If it's less than 10,000, cool. If it's more than cool. It's the first warning. Mm. So theoretically, this should save us. We could probably consider adding, let me just make a note here, because 10 seconds is like our max table size is 10 seconds, but it's right on the edge, so we might get duplicate flags if it's too close. But we'll test that right away. Mm, I love Copilot. Like it's impressive sometimes and such a time saver. Great. Let's run it, see what happens. Bring it over. Dev. So we're not saying anything yet, but now we are. And we should see our words per minute go up, which it is. Flag words not defined. Fine. That is fair. Fuck. Does it still happen? Yeah, it does. Okay. Uh, this doesn't exist yet. Ah, cool. Let's do it one more time. So it's working, and we see our words per minute go up, which is what we would expect. If I say fuck, it should say, oh, oh, no good. No swearing. Thank you. But I was kind of hoping. Hold on, stop. Let's skip this. And let's try and run this one more time. So hold on. We need our dev tools. Dev tools. No, I said dev tools with a V. So that's a thing where my pronunciation would be helpful. Now we can see it flags so all the time. Let's scroll up. Now we can see it black, so all the time, fine. Flag word doesn't exist, so it might be our previously flagged words and new flagged words that's messing up. And is not a filler word. I feel like and so should not be filler words. That just seems wrong. You say and a lot, so I could. We might have to introduce severity in terms of filler words. So is the least offensive, where like is the most. But I suppose so is still a filler word. Mm. The question is, why is this not working? Mm. So if we add weights to this, it might be better. Mm. What if we just do this? Move my entries and flag words where detected timestamp is older than. Mhm. Okay, try and see what happens. We can say a lot of different things, but there are certain words that will show up as a filler word, like so. Theoretically, this should work. Like, cool. That actually seems to do the trick. So the alert dialog might be annoying. It works. I'm happy. This is huge. Now have filler word detection, and we can just ask ChatGPT to make a list of business acronyms as well. That, let's just use the microphone. That was great. Can you make a list of all the business acronyms such as ARR, DAU, QBR that you know, because I need a similar business acronym list in my application. Okay. So great. Now we have our acronyms as well. Let's reduce that or minimize that and check if word is flagged. Here we'll say uh, business acronym. Okay. So here we can, where's a warning? Here, alert, flag type. This is actually impressive. I did not expect this to, thank you. I did not expect this to work this well. And now I find myself, now I find myself, okay, hold on. This is super useful. It actually makes me think about how I speak and what I say. It's annoying that it makes an alert every time. I need to remove it. This might be the most pleasant surprise after actually implementing it. It's working surprisingly well, and it's making me more thoughtful about the words that I use and how I say them versus just blabbering something out. We haven't yet checked we haven't yet checked whether our business acronyms work. I assume they do, but we could say, would this be able to generate some ARR? Oh, thank you. We need to remove all sort of symbols, question marks, dots, exclamation marks. Minor detail. We'll fix that right away. Mhm. Oh, great. That's better than what I would have done. I would have made like 10 different lines of replace. Well, in that case, we will probably just do this. Like this, and this, and don't do this. So we'll like sanitize it and we'll flag it. Okay, this is interesting. This might actually work. I need to stop saying these words immediately because seeing an alert every time is super annoying and it actually forces me to change my habit. Maybe there's a somewhere in between where it's not blocking whatever I do, but it is a good acknowledgement. Like it's an actual tactile acknowledgement of I'm doing something that I shouldn't. So that's helpful. That will certainly work. And I think this could be sold as a separate product right here and then, like right now. If we can just fix the memory leak and the design, this is an actual product that we could sell. I'm pretty sure about that. And we just stumbled across it because we had a weird idea over the weekend. That's actually wild. I need to think. I need to think about what we do then because we had different plans. We had a lot of different plans, but this is so simple, and we can track the usage of all these words independently. Show graphs. There's so much we could do. I might actually have to wrap this up for today and just think for a while, and we come back with a new plan tomorrow. Hmm. Is this worth an OKR? The acronym detection works. Shit. This is amazing. Honestly. Yet it's so simple. All right, I think I'll have to wrap up for today and just go think. for a while. This changes a lot of things, but so be it. So we have filler words galore. That's okay. I'm gonna wrap up for now and just say thank you for sticking with me and listening. This has been interesting, to say the least, and I now have a existential crisis under my hands that we need to ponder about until tomorrow. So thank you so much, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.